a teenager what it is. Juul is a new e-cigarette device that fits in the palm of your hand. Weijia Zhang reports from Arlington, Virginia that schools nationwide are trying to keep them out of the hands of students.
In 2015, a sleek device called Juul exploded onto college campuses.
There's a new danger threatening our kids, and it can be so hard to detect. It could be happening right in front of you, and you would never know it.
Promising a high-tech, less harmful alternative to smoking. But overnight, it rewired how an entire generation consumed nicotine. Within 3 years, Juul captured 1/3 of the US e-cigarette market, fueled by viral flavors, student brand ambassadors, and a design that hid in plain sight. Then came lawsuits, billion-dollar tobacco deals, and a near-total FDA ban that seemed to end everything. Until, somehow, Juul clawed back to legal status in 2025. How did America's most controversial vape go from dorm room craze to courtroom drama and back again? The real story behind how Juul crashed out and why it's legal again is wilder than you think. A Juul didn't look like a cigarette or even a vape. It looked like a USB stick, matte, pocket-sized, and almost weightless. You could charge it on your laptop and disappear the evidence in a pencil case. That was the point. James Monsees and Adam Bowen, both Stanford grads, obsessed over making nicotine feel modern, even invisible. The device was engineered for stealth. No lingering smell, no clouds, just a quick snap of a pod and a quiet exhale. Flavors like mango and mint, sweet as candy, turned each pod into a social currency. In 2015, Juul didn't just sell online. It seeded itself through college ambassadors. Young reps handed out free samples at campus parties, music venues, and dorm lounges. Some got paid, most just liked the buzz of being first. Photos from the launch campaign flashed neon colors, trendy models, and the promise of something new, something adults wouldn't notice. Within months, Juul pods passed hand-to-hand in lecture halls and locker rooms. Instagram and Snapchat lit up with tricks, memes, and coded hashtags. The device's shape let it hide in plain sight. Teachers and parents mistook it for a thumb drive. By the end of the first year, Juul's following wasn't built by ads on TV or billboards. It was built by whispers, DMES, and the thrill of getting away with it. The company's own launch documents called it a rational future for smoking. But in the hands of students, it felt more like a secret club, one that was growing by the day. The flavors weren't just a side note, they were the main event. Mango, mint, creme brulee. Each one felt like a limited edition drop, sparking countdowns and flavor rankings on Instagram and Twitter. In group chats, the question wasn't if you had a Juul, but which pod you'd scored. The buzz didn't stay underground for long. Social feeds exploded with vape tricks, and pods lined up like collectibles. Hashtags like #JuulPods and #MangoGang racked up millions of views, turning flavors into cultural shorthand. Some users posted their daily pod counts. Others filmed unboxings like sneakerheads. By 2016, sales numbers started to look unreal. Juul's revenue shot up by 700% in a single year. In less than 3 years, Juul owned 1/3 of the entire US e-cigarette market. That kind of growth doesn't go unnoticed. News outlets called it the fastest consumer product adoption since the iPhone. School resource officers and parents started asking questions, but the numbers kept climbing. For a while, the company tracked every spike in sales and social mentions like a tech startup chasing hockey stick growth. Flavors weren't just products, they were status symbols and social glue. The faster Juul spread, the more it felt like the device was everywhere, and the harder it became to ignore the impact. The next wave wasn't just about taste or stealth, it was about scale. And with scale came a new kind of attention, from investors and critics alike. Inside Juul's headquarters, the mood had changed. The company's wild growth had drawn not just headlines, but regulators and lawsuits. Cash was pouring in, but so were warning signs. Internal Slack threads flagged a surge in teen use, and advisors started to worry that the same marketing tricks that fueled Juul's rise could become its undoing. Then came the call from Altria, the parent company of Marlboro. In December 2018, Altria offered $12.8 billion for a 35% stake in Juul, a sum that would make headlines and turn the founders into overnight billionaires. But it wasn't just money on the table. Altria brought decades of tobacco industry know-how, a legal arsenal, and distribution muscle Juul could never match on its own. The boardroom was split. Some argued this was the only way to survive the coming crackdown. Others saw a deal with Big Tobacco as a betrayal. Leaked chat logs from late 2018 show heated debates. Should Juul double down on youth prevention and pull back on flavors, or take the deal and fight from inside the system? One advisor warned, "We're playing with fire. The optics are terrible." Another countered, "If we don't take this, we're dead in the water." The deal closed just as the FDA task force flagged Juul's youth surge for federal investigation. Overnight, Juul shifted from a brash disruptor to a company on defense, armed with Altria's lawyers and lobbyists, but carrying the baggage of a $12.8 billion bet. The founders, once Silicon Valley outsiders, now sat across from tobacco veterans and crisis consultants, forced to answer for every flavor, every post, every pod. The drama in those meetings would shape how Juul fought back when the real regulatory storm hit. Juul's growth playbook didn't last. As soon as Altria's money hit the bank, the company's priorities flipped. The founders, once obsessed with viral marketing and flavor drops, now found themselves surrounded by lawyers and policy strategists. Altria's people brought a different kind of expertise, the kind that comes from decades spent fighting regulation, not chasing trends. Tyler Mace, fresh from Philip Morris International, took over as chief legal officer, and Juul's board created a crisis task force stacked with ex-tobacco lobbyists and government affairs veterans. The budget told the story. In 2018, Juul spent just over $1.6 million lobbying Congress and federal agencies. By 2019, that number shot past $4 million, more than double in a single year. State House spending ballooned too, as Juul scrambled to defend its products in California, New York, and Colorado. Resources that once funded social media blitzes and campus parties were now buying meetings with lawmakers, hiring heavyweight lobbying firms, and prepping for congressional hearings. The real advantage, though, came from distribution. Altria's network opened doors in every convenience store and gas station chain in the country. Juul devices and pods landed next to Marlboro packs, prime shelf space, backed by the kind of retail muscle only big tobacco could deliver. In backrooms and policy meetings, Juul's new team argued they were partners in harm reduction, not a threat. But the playbook was pure tobacco: fight bans, shape the debate, and use national reach as leverage. The company wasn't just defending its product anymore, it was defending its right to exist. On June 23, 2022, the FDA dropped its hammer. Juul was ordered off the shelves, effective immediately. The official reason? Conflicting and incomplete toxicology data landed like a bomb inside Juul's war room. Overnight, the company's legal team scrambled. Emergency calls stacked up. Lawyers, PR handlers, and regulatory specialists worked in shifts, drafting a federal appeal before the clock ran out. They had 72 hours to convince a judge that the FDA had overstepped, that their own scientists deserved a fair hearing. The stakes were existential. If the ban stood, Juul was dead in its home market. By Monday morning, Juul's attorneys filed for an emergency stay. The court granted it, freezing the FDA's order and keeping Juul products in stores, at least for now. Inside company headquarters, relief mixed with anxiety. The fight had only just begun, and every new filing meant another round of late-night strategy sessions. For the scientists and lawyers behind the scenes, survival depended on one thing: proving Juul was more than a headline. It was a case worth reconsidering. Juul is legal again, but only under a microscope. The FDA's 2025 decision authorized just 5 products: the main Juul device and tobacco or menthol pods. No mango, no cream, nothing sweet. Each pod comes with a nicotine punch, but the flavors are strictly limited. Every sale is tracked, every ad scrutinized. Juul must report who buys, where, and how often. If underage sales spike, the FDA can pull the plug overnight. The rules are clear: no influencers, no youth-oriented images, no sponsorships, and no more viral tricks. Advocacy groups like Truth Initiative called the decision a step backward, warning that even menthol can hook kids. The American Heart Association says menthol appeals to youth and has no place in cessation. Oncology nurses worry about unknown risks, insisting that guardrails aren't enough. Juul's official line is different. We appreciate the FDA's rigorous, science-based evaluation. Our mission remains to eliminate combustible cigarettes. For now, the comeback is conditional, and the debate far from finished. In 2018, Juul held 1/3 of America's e-cigarette market, fueled by a 700% sales surge in just 1 year. That same rapid rise triggered an avalanche of concern over youth vaping, sparking lawsuits, congressional hearings, and a sweeping 2022 FDA marketing denial. Internal documents, including SEC filings and leaked corporate messages, reveal how the Altria deal and a shift to tobacco-style lobbying shaped Juul's strategy. Yet, the precise influence of early campus marketing and the full health impact of flavored pods remains under federal investigation. In July 25, the FDA authorized limited Juul products under strict post-market surveillance, stating they met the appropriate for the protection of public health standard. Critics, including the Truth Initiative and American Heart Association, continue to question whether those safeguards are enough. What's clear is that Juul's journey, from dorm room innovation to courtroom battles, reshaped nicotine regulation in the U.S. The debate over youth risk, industry tactics, and public health is far from over.